AskReddit by Doggy Rascal. What is the saddest part of being poor or homeless? Not feeling safe anywhere. And on top of this, there's nowhere that you can just be yourself. Everywhere is space that you are low-key intruding on. As an introvert, it pains me to not feel able to sit in your own space and not be beholden to whoever does or doesn't want you there. Hopelessness. There are so many barriers preventing a homeless person from improving their situation. It's honestly the worst situation to be in. Not having an address or work references or access to a computer are TOA situations for the homeless. High stress, bad health. Cavities from stress eating. The shame. You don't want anyone to know and are always afraid everybody knows. Also, it doesn't help that you're looked down upon by society for being lazy. Never having to experience comfort and security. Sitting on a soft chair is pure luxury when you're homeless. The fact that banks and utility companies see that you are hurting and fuck you even harder. This happened not long ago. My water gets cut off. So I put my account negative to pay it. Boom, $35 fee, plus $100 a connection fee. HRS later my power gets cut off. Boom, $35 overdraft fee and another $150 a connection fee. It just compounded so bad that my paycheck I so desperately needed just barely got my account in the green, so my paycheck was basically gone the second I got it. And the cycle of overdraft fees continue to fuck you harder and harder. It's hard to get out of that cycle and it doesn't need to be. One time I heard the phrase "it's expensive to be poor" and it rings true time and time again. Late fees, overdraft fees, high interest rates, etc. The system is built for the comfortable. I remember listening to an interview with a former homeless person and he said that the worst part of being homeless was how everyone would ignore him and pretend he wasn't there. He said the best thing you can do for a homeless person is to just say hello. While I understand how isolating this must feel, there have just been too many uncomfortable encounters with unhinged homeless people for me to risk making eye contact. People who say money doesn't buy happiness are so full of shit. That may be true, but I'd rather be sad in my mansion than sad living on the street. Money can't buy happiness, but it sure as shit buys security. Neglect of self, and small things add up. Even things like trying to be invisible, just trying to look like I belonged on the bus and so wouldn't get shooed away from stores. It damages you, makes you see yourself as less than human. Looking for a place to rest your head without a time frame. Are you talking about the pop-up homeless shelters towns have been building? It's tough, isn't it? What's harder is being in that situation with kids. Seeing your children go through poverty and not having a home is just so heart-wrenching. This is why I don't have kids. Not risking putting anyone through that misery. The wasted potential of brilliant people who are too poor to pursue higher education. Or the people who have great business ideas but never get to act on them because of the lack of startup capital. All the contributions to society that will never be made because the would-be contributors lack the funds to get anywhere. One of the most beneficial investments the government can make is to cancel student debt. Imagine people not having to give a huge percentage of their income to the financiers every month, and how much impact that would have if the money was going back into the economy. Trickle-up economics, anyone? A long time ago I was homeless for 2 years. The saddest part is being afraid. You never know it could happen to you. Because there are people who target homeless people and physically harm them. It did happen to me once where I saw why somebody who claimed they wanted to help me. And the saddest part about being poor is that you don't get to go on vacation. You don't get to have the finer things in life. You have to budget very tightly. And you don't have an opportunity to even save money. How did you get out of that homeless situation, if you don't mind me asking? People seeing you as less than human when sometimes it's not their fault but a terrible system that has been created. Every day consists of worrying about how to survive the next day. The fact that no one cares. I care. I'm homeless. The worst part is being a pariah, and for no reason. Even people who are exceptionally kind make me feel like I'm some sort of alien. I very gratefully can't speak for homeless myself, but the worst part of being poor is watching any and all potential you have to make something of yourself rot like a dead animal. You watch yourself get deeper lines in your face and grayer hair skin everything by the day from the constant fucking stress. You watch your body lose strength and stamina from lack of care, and you powerlessly experience yourself withering. You feel your mind dull as it hacks away at the superfluous bullshit that you learned that can't save you. You lose your patience and your nerves fray like cables on an old suspension bridge constantly covered with cars. Your friends, they don't give a fuck. Not really. Better him than me you hear from rooms far away. Ultimately, after enough time and tire spinning and flying fists, you break. You just break. This was beautifully written. If you don't write often, you should. Not having basic home necessities that you normally wouldn't even think about. I've been doing dishes in a bathtub for like 2 years now, before that was 9 months in a camper with no running water. I try my best to not take things for granted, and, in my case, keeping up with world events helps me feel less bad, because yeah, I'm washing dishes in the bathtub, but there are families in tents all across the world. I'm doing okay in the scheme of humanity, and I'm able to help others without stretching myself too thin. I'm grateful for my life, it could always be worse. You don't have family that will help. Especially if they could if they wanted to. If you are poor and can't help someone you want to, it's heartbreaking for all involved. Freezing to death. When you ask for help, you have to justify your existence. I've been on the verge of homelessness. Everyone said to go ask for welfare and rent subsidies. They want 5 tons of paperwork, proof of where your money goes, and a list of people who can help you out. No one wanted to help. Thankfully, I had ID and all of my documents, but what if I didn't? Get a job. What if you have no ID, mailing or email address, phone number, SS card, birth certificate? No clean clothes? How would you get a job? Plus, if you're poor but not quite poor enough according to archaic social statistics, you're st out of luck getting government aid. My taxes paid into this system, and when I most needed help, I was told to get lost. I begged and borrowed, and thank God timing lined up for a better job and more affordable housing. That's sort of where I am at currently. I make just barely too much to get food stamps but not enough to afford food. I've been looking for a second job. As a woman or girl, it makes you extremely vulnerable to rape, sex trafficking. I had a friend ask about these realities. I told him for women sleeping rough it's not enough, but a when. It costs more. NSF fees, interest rates, and the financial setback that being forced to move can be. It's not that you aren't working hard and yet all that makes you feel that you aren't doing enough. The lasting impact it has throughout your life. Indeed. I went from homeless to top 2% salaries in my country over 10 years. Incredible luck beyond all the hard work. Dude, lem tell ya, 10 years later there are still things I do the way I did them back in the day because it reduces waste and saves money. I still have some hobo comfort foods. Hell, the worst part is I had to go to therapy to get myself out of survival mode.